Meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. Verification of public notice. The meeting was publicly noticed. Verification of a quorum. We have 6 of our 7 board members in attendance, so we have a quorum. Approval of the agenda. Board members, would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Lisa, are you saying?
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
Dr. Beadle, I'll second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion before vote? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor with raise hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. And let's go on to our mission statement. Together with our families and community, we will inspire students to be passionate learners, creative thinkers, and innovative leaders who enrich our world. All right, let's go on now to our business office reports. Mr. Klimick, the floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. I don't have a prepared business office update this week. I'm just going to let you know that we just went through 2 days of our audit, financial audit. So we have been very busy in the business office. I just want to publicly thank my team, which includes Kathy Kelser as our accountant, Trina Jackson as human resources, and Vicki Cole as our business office specialist. And in spirit, Antoinette Napper, our payroll specialist, who is actually on maternity leave right now. So we were already shorthanded, but there's a lot of work that goes into preparing information for the audit, working with the auditors for the last couple of days, and we'll continue to have some follow-up there. But I appreciate all of their work, especially during a time of heavy recruiting and onboarding and hiring of staff. So it's been a very busy August in the business office. So we got through that portion of the audit, and I'll be happy to update the board as we get closer to completing that, and you'll be able to approve that later this year. That's all I have for a business office update.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Klimick. All right, let's go on to approval of new hires. Mr. Klimick.
We have 4 new hires this evening. Very excited to add these members to our staff. In front of you, we have Allison Sullivan, who is a middle school, or will be a middle school tech ed teacher. Tanya Buford, a new high school business teacher. Eric Schmidt, a high school science and engineering teacher. And Scott Subak, a high school business teacher.
All right, hearing and seeing that, would someone like to be able to make motions for approvals?
And you could make these all as one if you wanted to again.
Okay, we can make it all as one. All right, would someone like to make that motion?
Dr. Beadle, I make a motion
All right, Ms. Ashley.
to approve the hiring of Allison Sullivan as a middle school teacher for the 22-23 academic school year. I'd like to also make a motion to approve the hiring of Tanya Buford as a high school business teacher for the 22-23 academic school year. I also make another motion to approve the hiring of Eric Schmidt as a high school teacher for the 22-23 academic school year. And finally, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Scott Subak as high school business teacher for the 22-23 academic school year.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
So I will second, but that's just one motion versus 4 separate ones though.
Yes, it's
Right.
one motion.
Right. Yeah, just to clarify, I guess in the future, yeah, if you do, I move to approve Allison Sullivan and then Tanya Buford, and you can do them in sequence, not saying motion again, because it does then have multiple
Confusing.
motions
It
on the
makes it
floor at
4
the same time.
motions. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
multiple motions at one time. But as long as it's a friendly amendment to
Yeah.
allow that change, you should be fine.
All right. So, Ms. Robinson, did you second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Any conversation? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor with raised hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. So we'd like to thank and welcome Allison, Tanya, Eric, and Scott to the Brown Deer team. We look for wonderful things to come from you, and we greatly appreciate you coming to work for the District of Brown Deer. All right, let's go on now to item C, approval of resignations. Mr. Klimick.
Yes, we also have 4 resignations this evening. Linda Schober as our elementary school art teacher, Jay Henderson as the middle school assistant principal, Kevin Howard as the middle school tech ed teacher, and Nancy Taylor as the high school social studies teacher. Ms.
These will have to
Schober
be
has,
4 separate.
Ms. Schober has already provided liquidated damages, but with the other 3, I would ask that you make the motions pending the receipt of liquidated damages.
All right, but actually this right here would actually be 4 different because you have different dates for the resignations. So would someone like to make a motion for the resignation of Linda Schober?
Dr. Vito, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Linda Schober as an elementary school art teacher effective July 27th, 2022.
Now, is this one pending the liquidated damages? No, okay. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion, Dr. Vito.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor, we raise hand and/or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. We wish Linda good luck in her future endeavors. All right, would someone like to make a motion to the approval, the resignation of Kevin Howard?
Dr. Vito, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Kevin Howard as a middle school technical education teacher effective July 27th, 2022, pending receipt of liquidated damages.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor with raised hand and/or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. We wish Kevin good luck in his future endeavors. All right, resignation of Jay Henderson.
Dr. Vito, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Jay Henderson as middle school assistant principal effective August 21st, 2022, pending receipt of liquidated damages.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any conversation? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor with raised hand and/or aye. Our motion carries unanimously 6-0, and we wish Jay good luck in his future endeavors and resignation of Nancy Taylor.
And finally, Dr. Vito, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Nancy Taylor as a high school history teacher effective August 9th, 2022, pending receipt of liquidated damages.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. The motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second, Dr. Vito.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Walker. Motion has been made and seconded. Any conversation? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor with raised hand and/or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. We wish Nancy good luck on her future endeavors. All right, thank you very much. Can we now go on to item D, approval of the 2022-2023 agreement with Fox Point Bayside District for Physical Therapy Services? Would that be Mr. Klimick?
That is me again, yes. This is an agreement we've signed ever since I've been on the board as well. So this is our annual agreement with Fox Point Bayside where we share a physical therapist and we pay basically half the cost. It changes a little bit year to year based on the number of hours per week that the physical therapist is assigned based on caseloads.
And we actually have the proposal here. All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Fox Point Bayside?
I will make a motion to approve the 2022-23 66.0301 agreement with Fox Point Bayside School District for physical therapy services as presented.
Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. A motion has been made. We have a second.
Dr. Vito, I will second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and/or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. All right, thank you very much. Let's go on to item number E, approval of the agreement with Kiel School District.
And this is the
Doctor,
same.
doctor.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Mr. Clemming. I'm letting you know that might be
That's
something
it.
you need to do.
Oh, geez. Yeah. The master's degree was hard enough. I don't know if I'll do that, but
Dr.
um,
Garrison.
yeah, this is Dr. Garrison, but this is the
Right.
similar agreement that we signed last year, just so you know.
That's correct. And so the Kiel School District, actually the Kiel program has been with us since last year. We brought the Kiel program in for some definite needs that we had going into the coming out of the pandemic conversation. And we of course are still in the pandemic conversation. We will be using the Kiel services again this year. Just noted that we have about 20 seats that we have reserved with the program. It's something that we kind of play with the numbers as we need it. And that's something that we will continue to work with them. They are a great program that we partner with. I do believe that the parents that have taken part of the program and students that took a part of the program due to medical needs were definitely appreciative of the platform.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garrison, for that. Board members, you have any questions for Dr. Garrison?
I guess
right.
I just wanted to ask if you could refresh our memory on how many students we had enrolled in the program last year.
So last year we had about 18 or so students who enrolled in the program. Now, keep in mind that some of those students come back to the regular platform. So we fluctuated between 16 to 18 or so students.
Okay.
All right. I think, I don't know, Ms. Smith, you had a question?
Just really quickly, what type of you said you believe they appreciated the program. What type of data, what type of feedback did we, with regard to feedback that we collect from those families? I don't need the data, just how we,
Sure.
yeah.
So we did send a survey out to the families. That's one of the things I do believe in doing, just to make sure we capture some of the thoughts from the families and from the feedback from the families. They, again, all appreciated the platform. The survey went out at the end of, I want to say, May.
How comprehensive? Did it ask about instruction or just, did you appreciate just a little bit on what you all sought when you asked them? I know we're getting it back, so it must have been a success, but just.
So instruction was one of them, platform understanding, and there was another one. Services was the third bigger question. And then any other form of feedback they would like to provide in a nutshell.
And who was our lead that was, I can't remember, was that?
Leah Bishop was one of our leads for the program,
Okay.
as well as myself.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No problem. Nice
All right.
questions.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve the 2022-23 66.031 agreement with Kiel School District for virtual learning services as presented.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. The motion has been made. Do we have a second?
Dr. Vito, I will second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor with a raised hand and/or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. All right.
Dr. Beadle, I just wanted to add to that, just so the board remembers that that's a program where the seats, we don't book the seats in advance. I mean, we've asked to put some on hold, but we will only pay for the seats that are actually utilized. And there is some flexibility throughout the year if something changes, so we can address that. So it's not something that we're locked in and like we have in some other programs where we have alternative seats.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Clemming. All right, let's go on now to our item F, initial review of the 22-23 support staff and custodial handbooks.
I'm sure you read all of them covered. That's me again. I'm sure you read them both cover to cover. I'm just excited that we're near the finish line of this year-long project of actually refreshing and updating our employee handbooks. So I just wanted to get these in front of you tonight. We'll have them approved for final approval in 2 weeks. So you'll have a chance for further review. And if there are any questions during that time, please let me know. And I did highlight in an email kind of the sections that are different. So a lot of the language you're going to see is identical. However, the support staff and custodial staff both apply or both have a different set of policies. Those are the 4,000s, whereas the professional employees and administrators were in the 1,000s and 3,000. So you're going to see those different links throughout the handbook. And then there are some things that aren't relevant to that are relevant to those groups that aren't relevant to the other groups. So there's some differences, but I would say a good 80% of the handbook is very similar to the professional handbook, which you've seen for a while now. So just wanted to get that out in front of you. If you had any questions initially, I'm happy to answer them. But if not, feel free to send me any questions and we can have another discussion. If there's a chance to change anything before the next board meeting, great. If otherwise, I'm happy to answer questions at that time as well.
Thank you very much. And that's not one that we're voting on tonight. That'll be one that we'll be voting on at the regular board meeting. All right, let's go on now to item G, approval of the 22-23 professional staff employee handbook.
Yeah, so this I presented to the board 2 weeks ago, just to give you a heads up. I know you had a few comments and questions, which we referred to. The only thing that was changed was that we did, after some internal conversations, especially with development of other things, that we wanted to make sure we added a little section on the emergency operations plan, just so that staff are aware that it exists and that it's their responsibility to understand what their responsibilities are in it. So again, that's the plan that is still being approved, or it's going through the legal processes with law enforcement, and then the board will approve that. So it isn't in place yet, but we wanted to make sure that this language is ready to go, so that when the plan is in place, employees understand their responsibility regarding it. Other than that, the handbook is the same.
Right. Only thing I was going to say then, Kevin, I want to wait. I think we probably should wait on approval of the handbook until we get everything, and then we can approve it, unless we are talking about trying to approve it, then being able to add an addendum to it if there's any other changes that happen. I'd rather, what if we were able to do this, Kevin? Make the approval for this handbook when we make the approval for the other two handbooks in 2 weeks, so that way it gives you time to get this other information in here.
No, I'm sorry. This just refers that there's an emergency operations plan, which will be that's a separate thing that is not going to be tied to the handbook. We're not going to have the plan in the handbook. The handbook though refers to the plan. So I'm just saying that once that plan is approved, this handbook is just saying, here's where you have to go look for it, to go see the emergency operations plan, and just understanding that piece. We're not going to put the handbook. It's similar to other things that we're not putting into the handbook. We're referring them to other sources. So it's just, like I said, the only thing is that we're saying you'll need to be aware of it. We're just putting the responsibility on the staff that is part of their job, is to understand it. Granted, they won't be able to do it right away because it isn't in place, which is fine. We're not going to hold anybody accountable for that at this moment until it is approved. But I'd rather not delay the approval of the handbook, because we do have teachers returning, new teachers come on Monday, and staff return a week from Monday. And I'd love to have the handbook ready to go for their, all staff will be signing off on it, that they received it, and that they will have read it. And then if there are any questions regarding policy during the course of the year, the handbook will be in place. So I don't think there's anything to wait for, because I don't know how long it'll take law enforcement to get through the EOP, and that's going to be a separate conversation that we'll approve as a separate document. So,
board members, questions before we go to talk about a vote? Anyone have any other questions or that they have for Mr. Clemick in relationship to the employee handbook? Okay. All right, well, if we don't have if anyone has any questions, does someone want to make a motion to approve it?
I will make a motion to approve the 2022-23 professional staff employee handbook as presented.
All right, thank you very much, Robinson. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second Dr. Beadle.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 6-0. All right.
thank you.
Let's go on now to item H, discussion and approval of Strive 365. I know that we have individuals here now that are going to present. So would I need to talk to Dr. Garrison? Are you going to lead this off, or?
I'll tee it off, Dr. Vito. So yes, we have presenters this evening joining us from Strive 365. Creighton Nash is here on behalf of Dr. Brandon Curry, who owns Strive 365. The board approved a partnership with Strive 365 for the first time last year, and we are interested in engaging in the partnership as they partner with our SEL team to provide supports to our students. as we continue to move forward and work on the culture and climate, strengthening the culture and climate in our buildings. So the document was forwarded to or attached to board book for the board. And Mr. Creighton Nash is going to give you a brief presentation. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And so I will turn it over to Mr. Nash.
Thank you. I'm Creighton Nash, Program Manager here at Strive 365. I work in the building here with the students. I'm pleased to be here. I had a wonderful time this last year working with the student population here. This is about continued momentum. We all know what the social emotional impact of the pandemic was. We also know that there's still more work that we need to do. In conjunction with the Brown Deer Way, in the last 5 months of the school year last year, Strive 365 has been instrumental in implementing these core values with that student body through our mentoring and our programming with our proprietary frameworks of CRAFT and COPE. CRAFT is an acronym for catch yourself, react, assess the situation, focus, think, decide, and act. And then COPE is another acronym that we use that stands for communication, offering, positivity, and empowerment. So what did we accomplish? And these numbers are in the report that you have, but what we really accomplished in the fall, we were able to come in and establish the relationship, set the tone with the students, get to know the staff, and gain familiarity. In spring of 2022, we had over 1,400 interactions with students, meeting about 75 of them a week. And that was broken down by 32 middle schoolers and 43 high schoolers. In a review, we had a focus group to see, how effective we were. And in our focus group, we took 16 students. 88% of these students increased their overall GPA. 44% of them increased their GPA by 0.25 grade points. Now, we're not claiming that we were the magic sauce or anything like that, but we saw in what we do some momentum that we were having with our programming and everything. Also in that documentation, you'll be able to see some of the things that the kids were able to say about our effectiveness. But I want to tell you guys a story, something that impacted me that directly affects the impact of what we do. At the end of the year, I had a student that comes from a home where his dad is in prison and his stepdad is very abusive towards him and his mom and his brother. And he came up to me and told me that we were able to help him reframe his thinking on life. We were able to help him communicate better at home. He was able to really focus on the music that he wants to get into and has now gone on to investigate colleges that have the specific program that he's looking for. And he very plainly said, these are things that he never thought of before until being a part of our programming and the mentorship that we here at Strive 365 have been able to produce. That goes with the Brown Deer Way. He took responsibility, he was honest, and he had trust and confidence in what we were doing to be able to share that with us. One of the administrators here gave us the biggest endorsement when we were in the focus group with students and administrators. They said that when we asked the question, what is it that you guys need? They said, what we need, Strive 365 is doing. That's a big endorsement, in my opinion, on what we were able to accomplish. As far as the future, what does the future look like? With the foundation of relationships, students, faculty, and staff set, and the familiarity with the programming and the mentoring that we can establish, we don't have those growing pains, as much of those growing pains that we'd have to go through coming into year two. It'll help us continue to model the Brown Deer Way. It'll increase the participation in the programming through name recognition and, students talking about, hey, we've got this group that we're part of, maybe you can get in it too and it can help you. It'll help community-wide involvement. We had a basketball camp that we were able to have here last spring for the students. And that was a very popular thing that we saw, that it was more than just us talking about life. We were able to have a little fun and incorporate the things that we were doing in the programming with the sport. And then just an increased presence and availability to not only the students, but the faculty and staff. Throughout the year, I was a part of different discussions and different outcomes with students that were having problems in different areas. An example, a phone and a phone charger was stolen. And our officer, our community resource officer, was going to get involved. He didn't want it to go a certain way because the people that were involved didn't really want to talk to him and didn't really want to tell him the truth. So I was able to back him up and talk to the students. Officer Oleg was able to come in and look at the film, see exactly what happened, and we were able to recover the phone and get some apologies and really assess, what will we do different? What will we do different in this situation so that it doesn't get to arguments or ticket or kid getting expelled and things of that nature. So what we're here to try to do is to keep that momentum going. I yield the rest of my time for any questions that you have for either of us.
Board members, any questions for Mr. Nash? I just wanted to just say that, just hearing some of that and some of the statistical data that you presented in relationship to the effectiveness of the program and working with our young people and being able to do that, I think it sounds like a wonderful program, definitely cost effective for the dollar amount that we're spending in relationship to be able to have the services. And in my opinion, if there was to be something that we potentially could expand to be able to reach more of our young people, to be able to do that, because we do know, as educators, majority of us on here are educators. We understand that our young people sometimes it takes some outside entities to be able to get to them, for them to get some other words of knowledge, some wisdom, being able to be exposed to some different things and being able to do that to help them, to be able to help them in their education, their social, emotional, and all the rest of those different things and stuff. So I really appreciate the program. Ms. Peterson.
I think Dr. Vito took the words right out of my mouth. It is simply amazing listening to you talk about this program and the things that it is offering to our young Black boys in the city of Milwaukee. We see every day on the news things that could potentially happen. And so to be able to have a program like this that gives them the support that they need, the encouragement that they need to move forward, to grow, both in educationally and from your story, it sounds like just overall having that support that will push them forward and give them the courage to move forward in any avenue that means. And so I lift my hands to you and Strive 365 for what you are trying to do and trying to accomplish with our young man. I wish that there was some way that this program or something similar can expand out to all of the children that are in need of it, not just the young men, but our young ladies as well. But for what you're doing currently and what your plans are going forward, I want to say thank you and appreciate all the work you're doing just thus far and what we're looking forward to seeing in the future.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Robinson, you had a question or a statement?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask for the increased participation piece that you have listed. So what would be needed from the district in order for you to be able to successfully do that?
As far as increasing the participation immediately. Right now, there's room to grow in what we were doing as it is. We think that those numbers, and actually for the numbers that I saw in the spring, I think naturally it'll grow, because when we first were here, they didn't know, the students didn't know what we were here about and what we were doing and everything like that. We saw incremental growth throughout the year just based off of word of mouth from the kids. I think, you know, every year that goes by, as we have a bigger impact with the students, it's going to allow us to be able to have more students. Does that answer your question?
Okay, yeah, if it's just a matter of that exposure, then yes.
And if I may add, Dr. Beadle, just a reminder from last year, we got off to a kind of a late start last year. So remember, the contract was prorated last year based on when Strive 365 came in to the school district. But I also want to say we're most appreciative to Creighton and the team members that come here to support our students. But with that being said, this contract, while the dollar amount is would be the total. Would be the total $50,000 amount.
Right.
I've been able to have a conversation with Dr. Curry in order to have Mr. Nash will actually be here from a 9 to 3 time frame this year. I think you were here mostly the afternoons after lunch, right, Mr. Nash, last year, and so he will be here before lunch and be able to assist us, the principals and assistant principals, with navigating the lunch hours, which we know. It's more of an unstructured, environment in that kids are having lunch, they're socializing, that kind of thing. And so we're grateful to Brandon or Dr. Curry, who agreed to a larger time frame or a larger window of time, if you will, for Mr. Nash to be here with our students as we embark upon the 22-23 school year. So thank you to Strive, to Dr. Curry for that. We will look forward to you spending more time with us, Mr. Nash, provided that the board approves the contract this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Nash, question for you. Now, we talked about potential program expansion, and we have a dollar amount that's on the contract that we're going to be voting on this evening. So if the numbers were to expand, what would we be looking at a different dollar amount with the expansion, or what exactly would we be looking at if we were to expand the program?
So with different dollar amounts, that would help with us actually being able to have more backup as far as personnel coming, which will lead to more of an enhanced program that we're able to offer and everything like that. For example, if we get X amount more dollars, then that could help us with adding to our program for females, bringing females into the mix and everything like that, and setting up a program for them and everything that would go on top of everything that we currently have set up.
All right. Thank you.
Additionally, another item would probably be, as we'd see an expansion of the amount of students, we'd also expand on our equipment, knowing that we'd want more equipment for the kids to have enough for each and every one of them as well. That's always been important as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for those responses to the questions. Any other board members have any other questions before we go to make a motion on the program?
So just point of clarity. So those expansions that you mentioned, would that require more dollars, or will we still be under that amount or within that amount?
If we were to, for example, expand and open this up to the female students also, that will require some more dollar amounts, just based off of the fact that we would need to expand our roster to be able to do so and everything. And that would help us.
And additionally, we try to, the way that Coach Nash has kind of been the mentor for young males, we would like to have a female also be kind of the mentor for young females as well, just because they'd be able to relate to them on a day-to-day basis. So that's another important factor for us as well.
Thank you very much. Any other further questions before we go to a motion? All right, would someone like to make a motion to approve the Strive 365?
Dr. Beto, I'd like to make a motion to approve Strive 365 Partnership Agreement as presented.
Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second Dr. Beto.
Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion and or questions before we go to vote? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. I know, oh, okay, 7. All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. All right, thank you very much. And hey, we welcome Strive 365 back into the building, and you know, we really appreciate the work that that whole team does for that. And I definitely know that Brandon, Dr. Curry, is really loves this stuff because he came back home to be able to do this program and stuff. So we really appreciate that part.
Thank you for working with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right.
All right, you guys.
Thank you. All right, let's go on to our item number 3, our engaged learners. Dr. Garrison, I believe.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Beadle. As you know, last week on Friday, we had a board retreat where we had our board retreat in which we had some conversations around our data conversations. What we have today is just a short snapshot of the conversation that we were going to have on Friday. I have with me Mr. Andrew Richter, our data and assessment coordinator, and I'm gonna turn it over to him just to kind of give us a real brief high-level overview of the conversation, as well as take any questions from the board. As you know, you did have this presentation, and then we would love to have any questions that we can answer for today. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Richter.
Thank you, Dr. Garrison. Hello, board. Nice to see you again. So real quick, let me just go through some of the highlights from each building that we looked at from this previous year. Starting with the Brown Deer Elementary School, we had a successful 2-year training completed in the Calkins reading curriculum. We had a 95 participation rate on the forward assessment, which showed after the, as we like to call it, the 2019-2020 school year was the start of the experience. After that, that year, which there was no testing done in the state, we have seen a 2-year growth in our ELA, math, and science at the elementary school. And with an implementation of our new math program, the Bridges, which we just had a great training these past 2 days, we expect to see continued growth, especially in our math curriculum. At the middle school, we had successful implementation of one-on-one technology. We had the addition of a guidance counselor, SEL coach. We implemented the Village Academy for students to gain more individualized support for our 6th through 8th graders. And I got to give kudos to the middle school. Last year, we oftentimes hit over 99% test participation on some of our assessments, which was outstanding. When you think about understanding data points with each student, we now have that in place with many of our middle school students moving forward and can analyze growth year in and year out. At our high school, we're making progress towards being more ACT ready. And what that means is on one of the slides I gave you in that presentation is no matter what the race breakdown was, if you are in a core course at the high school level, you saw a higher ACT score than versus taking non-core courses. And so understanding that aspect of it really can help us dive into, right now we have over a 5-point gap between our Black and African American students compared to our white students at the high school with their composite ACT scores. But if we can increase our AP courses, which we are already moving forward with that this year. We saw an increase in the exams being taken last year. We are giving more of those students an opportunity for college readiness and in hopes of closing that gap when we're looking at race breakdown with our ACT scores at the composite score. So that's just a quick overview of each school. I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you had from the presentation that I gave you. So by all means, ask away.
Board members, questions in relationship to the data report. Ms. Smith, you had a question? All right, board members, no questions in relationship to this, to the information that's being shared?
I just have not a question, but just a comment. I just want to thank Mr. Richter and the district for just kind of putting together those numbers. It's just really important to be able to have the data and to be able to examine the data as we move forward in planning, curriculum. And so, yeah, just thank you so much for putting the emphasis and the importance on, that data.
No problem. No, it's extremely important that we test our students to know where they're at and how to make a plan for this next school year.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Andrew? All right, so thank you very much for that data discussion and being able to share that information and be able to share that information with us. And we look forward to increased scores for all of our young people to be able to do that. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's go on to item number 4, engage in innovative staff. Is this Dr. Garrison?
Yes. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Brown.
No, you can start. I'll come in. I'll chime in behind you.
Sure. So, of course, we all know that next week starts our new teacher welcome back week. That is a week of August the 15th through the 19th. And then, of course, for all staff, we have our welcome back agenda, welcome back week, which will be August the 22nd through the 29th. Naturally, during these times, everybody is gearing up for those first days of school. To be honest with you, like as Mr. Richter already mentioned, we had a kickoff this already with the Bridges math curriculum down at BDE already underway. We also had many opportunities for our teachers to participate in summer learning this summer. And I believe that those things will also catapult us to greater opportunities for our students coming into the new school year. As you know, we plan a lot around what our teachers need during this week, especially for our new teachers. And so there's a list of things that we do during that week for our teachers. Most importantly, we try to make sure that they have everything they need in preparation for that first days of school. With our welcome back week, the most important thing is, again, making sure that our teachers have everything they need in order for our students to be prepared on that first day of school. Now, with that being said, naturally, with teachers coming in, there's always going to be opportunities for us to grow together. And going into this 2022, 2023, 2023 school year, that is our goal again, is to grow together and continue the path in which we've set around academic and curriculum excellence for our teaching staff. Dr. Barrow.
Thank you, Dr. Garrison. And I just wanted to draw the boards. So this is an exciting week for all of us, for a new teacher week, and also for welcoming our staff back. As we all know, we have selected Ted Nysky from CISA 6 to help us engage in our strategic planning process. And with that, he's also going to be the welcome back kickoff speaker for us, for our staff. And so for board members, if any of you are available to join us on that Wednesday when all of the staff are back here in the field house from 1 to 4. I understand that time is not on your side as it relates to staying with us for 3 hours. However, if you would like to join us, at least for the beginning of the kickoff, with Ted being our keynote speaker right here in our very own field house, we would love to have you join us on that day. So just wanted to draw your attention to that day in particular. And then on Thursday, we are making a good faith effort to partner with the Village, with President Montgomery, and to have a food truck community luncheon, if you will, right here in our very own field house parking lot. And so we are confirming those trucks, the food trucks at the moment. But if you're able to stop by and join us on that day for the food trucks, that would be greatly appreciated. Right now, we're looking at a time frame of 11:30 to 1, providing an opportunity for our community to meet board members if you're able to make it, village trustees, as well as district cabinet members and building level principals. So if you're able to make it, stop on by. We would love to have you. Once it's solidified, we will send out more information and put information out on social media and share with you the food trucks, the vendors who are coming, just as a community celebration to kick off the beginning of the school year. And if
And
there are
which
any
day?
questions, that will be, the food truck event is on Thursday, August 25th, the very next day. I'm sorry, you want to unmute, Ms. Macon? We can't hear you. Want to unmute? Did Ms. Macon have? There was a calendar that was up, but now it's missing. Yes, I can forward the calendar to the board, Ms. Macon. That way you'll have all of the information. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I saw.
That wasn't on the bottom.
I
Okay,
saw
thank
the
you.
calendar
Okay.
before. What I was wondering is, though, on that 24th, are you guys doing a lock-in or what's happening there that first day? Is that a typo? The very first item?
A lock-in? Where are you, Ms.?
I think she's talking
24th.
from the 11:30 to 7:30 PM workday. Yeah, what's going on?
Yes, we're starting the day a little later. Staff can come in later on that day because we have open house that evening. So we're still trying to honor the 8-hour workday.
Okay, so 11:30 a.m.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, they're locking you in?
Okay,
Kelsey
that's what
Brown.
you mean by lucky.
Dr. Kelsey Brown, I was trying to help you out a little bit.
I can't see you though, Dr. Beadle. That's the problem. I can't see you on my screen.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. That you are greatly appreciated. No lock-ins here. No, thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Anything else in relationship to our engaged and innovative staff report? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now let's go into our item number 5, engage board and community lead. Our budget hearing and annual meeting, September 29th, 2022 in the middle school South Commons area at 6 p.m. Dr. Brown, have we identified individuals already that'll be doing the representation for the community?
No, we have not yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. As we get closer and closer to that event, then if we can, the information can be shared so we know who's doing what. Okay.
No problem.
All right. Anything else, like Kevin, is there anything else you want to be able to talk about in relationship to the budget hearing and the annual meeting?
I'll be talking about the budget, that's for sure. You will approve the budget that we will present for the newspaper publishing in 2 weeks. So that'll be the most updated version. It will still be fluid because a lot will change between that and the September. Well, actually, we'll have the September count, but by the time we present, but not in time to publish. So that's the unfortunate timing of this whole process. So you'll approve a budget for the annual meeting. A lot of things will change. We'll present the annual meeting budget. The citizens of Brown Deer will vote on a levy based on that budget, and then we'll change a bunch of things in October, a couple weeks later. So, but I'll try to present as much information to those attending the annual meeting as what's going to change based on the information we have at that time.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Mr. Clemming. With that being said, let's go on to item number 6, adjournment. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Dr. Beadle, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Dr. Beadle, I'll second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor with raised hand and/or aye? All right, motion carries unanimously, 7-0. I call this meeting adjourned at 6:52 p.m. Everyone, please continue to enjoy this nice summer weather. All of our teachers and our staff, administrators, I know we're getting ready to get back to business of teaching and learning for our students. Enjoy the remainder of your summer. before you get ready to come back. And everyone stay safe, and we will see you soon. Good night.